Hello and welcome to Spectrum News. My name is Xavier Robert, coming to you live from Uyo, the capital city of Akwa Ibom. Let's take a look at the headlines. President-elect Bola Tinubu congratulates Charles III. Appeal Court President Justice Monica Domban-Mansem to unveil Presidential Election Petition Tribunal panel, May 8. Plus, Charles III crowned king at first UK coronation in 70 years. The details of these stories and more. First in the news today, the President-elect Bola Tinubu has expressed his willingness to engage King Charles III. Tinubu spoke while congratulating King Charles III on his coronation. King Charles III's coronation took place at London's Westminster Abbey yesterday. His coronation followed the death of his mother, Queen Elizabeth II, in September 2022. However, Tinubu expressed hope that King Charles III would continue the bilateral relationship between England and Nigeria during his reign. He further expressed the hope that the bilateral relationship between Nigeria and Britain would be stronger under King Charles III's reign. Meanwhile, the presidential candidate of the Labour Party LP in the February 25 presidential election, Peter Obi, has congratulated King Charles III and Queen Camilla on their coronation. Obi said he believed his ascension will give better support to poorer ones, especially in Africa. The congratulatory message was contained in a post via his verified Twitter handle on Saturday. Recall that King Charles III was officially crowned yesterday in Westminster Abbey. Also, Camilla was crowned as the Queen Consort. The former Anambra State Governor in his message said he is confident King Charles would champion the protection of global environment. Now from the seat of Nigeria, which he noted has left lessons to be learned to better subsequent polls. The president stated this while addressing his colleagues at the Commonwealth Leaders Summit as part of the major events leading to the coronation of His Majesty King Charles III as King of the United Kingdom and leader of the Commonwealth. According to a statement issued by the Senior Special Advisor to the President on Media and Publicity, Garba Shehu, the President told the summit that the election saw a remarkable turnout of voters, and in spite of some pockets of violence, the people demonstrated that a government can be elected peacefully and fairly. The Nigerian leader also said the country 2023. More from the seat of power, President Muhammadu Buhari has approved the appointment of members of the Board of Trustees of the Nigeria Police effect from May 19, pursuant to the MPTF Establishment Act 2019. It added that the reappointment followed the remarkable performance of the board as evident in the deepening of policing and internal security in Nigeria. The statement listed those reappointed to include Suleiman Abba, Chairman, and Abdullahi Bala, Executive Secretary, and a representative each of the Ministries of Police Affairs, Justice, and that of Finance, Budget, and National Planning. Others are Mansour Ahmed, representing the organized private sector, Michael Adebiyi, representing civil society organizations, and the Inspector General of Police, representing the Nigeria Police Force. Away from that, the stage is now set for the President of the Court of Appeal, Justice Monica Domban-Mansem, to formally unveil members of the Presidential Election Petition Tribunal, PEPT, that would adjudicate on all petitions filed against the declaration of Bola Ahmed Tinubu and the All Progressives Congress APC as winners of the disputed 2023 presidential election. The unveiling of the tribunal members, slated for tomorrow, Monday, May 8, would be carried out at the Court of Appeal headquarters in Abuja. Justice Domban-Mansem, since the presidential election result was made public, kept the names of the tribunal members to her chest to avoid undue influence on them. The unveiling of the tribunal is coming on the heels of the Action Alliance petition against the declaration of Tinubu as Nigeria's president-elect. The notice of withdrawal of the petition would be tabled before the Presidential Election Petition Tribunal (PEPT) on May 8 during the inaugural sitting at the Court of Appeal headquarters in Abuja. Away from that, the Minister of State for Power, Engineer Abubakar Aliyu, has said that Nigeria's electricity bill is the cheapest in the world. While addressing a Senator Gabriel Suswam-led committee, Aliyu said that electricity consumers are the highest defaulters in the world. He appeared before the Senate panel with heads of agencies under his ministry, where he insisted that the federal government's highly subsidized electricity made the bill cheap, yet it is being defaulted with impunity. The minister said while comparing the cost of electricity with Nigeria's neighboring countries, it is the cheapest, particularly the gas to power. He lamented that the sabotage being experienced in power by consumers and government agencies despite the federal government's effort to stabilize power supply. Now, Governor Nasser El-Rufai of Kaduna State has reacted to reports of him becoming the chief of staff to the president-elect Bola Tinubu. El-Rufai said he will not be Tinubu's chief of staff after leaving office on May 3rd for the position of the president-elect's chief of staff. However, El-Rufai said he would rather remain in the private sector while contributing to Nigeria's development. The governor spoke while commissioning the Gombe Geographic Information Systems Service Center on Saturday. El-Rufai also performed the groundbreaking ceremony of 550 Shongo homes and gardens under the Family Homes Fund in Gombe State. Meanwhile, Rivers State Governor Nyesom Wike is under fire for naming a new courthouse in the state after his wife, Suzette Eberechi. He said people commend him of being generous, and there is nothing wrong with him being generous to himself by naming the courthouse after his wife. The magistrate court was constructed at the Moscow Road in the Port Harcourt City local government area. The edifice was one of the projects President-elect Bola Tinubu commissioned during his visit to the state on Wednesday. A Twitter user, Aziz Bakari, stirred up a conversation at the weekend after he lambasted Wike for acting as though he owned state funds. In a tweet with hundreds of angry reactions, Bakari alleged that due diligence from Tinubu's team should have revealed that such alleged ethical mishap should not form part of his first public duty. Away from that now, former Deputy Speaker of the Plateau State House of Assembly, Yusuf Gagdi, has declared his intention to run for the Speaker of the 10th House of Representatives. He declared his intention at the unveiling of his manifesto and a compendium of his achievements in the 9th National Assembly in Abuja. He promised to lead a transparent House of Representatives. His declaration comes ahead of the inauguration of the 10th National Assembly in June. Some elected federal lawmakers, alongside friends and relatives of Gagdi, who represents Panshin Kanke Kanam Federal Constituency of Plateau State. A legal practitioner, Kayode Ajulo, has said that the coronation of King Charles III on Saturday was a good opportunity for those making pleas for pardon on behalf of former Deputy Senate President Ike Ekweremadu to do that. Ekweremadu, who alongside his wife Beatrice and Dr. Obinna Obeta was convicted by the Central Criminal Court in London of organ trafficking in March, was handed prison sentences on Friday. Before the sentencing, very high-profile bodies and individuals, including the Senate, House of Representatives, ECOWAS Parliament, and former President Olusegun Obasanjo, among others, wrote to the court asking for clemency for Ekweremadu. But Ajulo, who was a guest on the televised interview, said he believed the letters were done erroneously. He said that it could pass as trying to interfere in the court processes, but proffered the solution of using the coronation to make the United Kingdom does not regard Nigeria. Joe's comment follows the refusal of the UK to pardon Senator Ike Ekweremadu Despite pleas of clemency by former President Olusegun Obasanjo, the Economic Community of West African States, as well as the leadership of the National Assembly. He said Nigeria would have yielded to the UK government's plea if it was their citizens arrested in Nigeria. Joe, in an interview, also said Nigeria will learn its lesson following the recent event. Away from that, now, Nigerian Institution of Estate Surveyors and Valuers have raised the alarm on the invasion of the real estate industry by quacks masquerading as surveyors and general property managers. This alarm was raised by the Abia State branch of the institution in Umuahia during the celebration of Valuers Day in the state. The institution, which spoke through Abia State Chairman Ucheibe Austin, lamented that real estate business in the country is stretched out. He lamented that many property owners in the country made the mistakes of engaging the services of the quacks, which in some cases resulted in collapse of buildings, duping of interested property investors, failed inland roads in housing estates. On electoral matters now, the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) says it is yet to receive official communication from the House of Representatives on its resolution regarding the nation's voter register. The Chief Press Secretary to INEC Chairman Rotimi Oyekanmi told newsmen on made the resolution at its plenary on Thursday after the unanimous adoption of a motion of urgent public importance. The motion was moved by a member, Leke Abejide, representing Yagba East-West Mopamuro constituency in the 9th National Assembly. In a separate development, the third batch of Nigerian evacuees was received in Abuja from Port Sudan by federal government officials yesterday. According to the Nigerians in Diaspora Commission, the returnees, made up of 131 people, mostly women and children, landed at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport. The officials expressed optimism that the process would be successfully completed. Their arrival came after the second batch of Sudanese evacuees arrived in Nigeria on Friday afternoon. Now, the second batch arrived at the Abuja airport in Abuja around 3 p.m. with about 130 persons aboard a Taco airline aircraft. Meanwhile, the Nigerians in Diaspora Commission (NIDCOM) said another flight with a batch of evacuees is expected today, with conclusion ongoing on necessary clearance for takeoff. This is contained in a statement by Abdur Rahman Balogun, Head of Media, Public Relations and Protocols, NIDCOM. Balogun said this was part of the highlights of the interministerial briefing on the return of the fourth batch of evacuees from Sudan at the Hajj terminal of the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport. In Osun State, the governor, Ademola Adeleke, yesterday described as false insinuations that he was planning to demote workers in the state has not and would not demote workers or introduce half salary. Meanwhile, the Osun All Progressives Congress spokesperson Kola Olabisi was yet to respond to the allegations as of the time of filing this report, even as a copy of the statement was sent to him. The Anambra State Commissioner for Education, Professor Ngozi Chumaude, has commended Ejikeme Joy Mesoma for her performance during the 2023 Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination conducted by the Joint Admission Matriculation Board, JAM, describing it as excellent and very outstanding. Chumaude said the performance coming from the state has again demonstrated the investment and priority the administration of Professor Chukwuma Soludo accords the education sector in Anambra State. This is according to a statement issued by the ministry in Awka on Saturday. Mesoma, a student of the Anglican Girls Secondary School, Newi, emerged as the overall best student in the 2023 UTME with an aggregate score of 362. The breakdown of her score is as follows: English 98, Physics 89, Biology 94, and Chemistry 81. Meanwhile, a United States-based Nigerian scholar Chijioke Ona has won the 2023 Mellon ACLS Dissertation Innovation Fellowship Award, making it his 27th local and international academic award since 2013. This was announced by scholarship giant The Intimacies, the Biopolitics of Waste and Disposability in Africa and African Diaspora, which won him the award, was selected out of a pool of about 700 entries from various countries of the world. The Enugu State-born prolific scholar and graduate of combined English and history from the University of Nigeria, Nsukka, UNN, is currently a PhD student at Cornell University, USA, specializing in Black Atlantic literature, African studies, trauma and memory studies, and environmental humanities. President of the donor organization, Joy Connolly, who made the announcement, explained that the award program is run under a sponsorship grant from ACLS's partner, the Mellon Foundation, pointing out that it was initiated to support exceptional emerging scholars who are pursuing path-breaking research. Away from that now, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, has closed its case in a £2.6 billion alleged fraud charge slammed on an oil firm, Petrol Union Oil and Gas Limited, a consultant to the company, and 3 of its directors on alleged investment on the construction of 3 refineries in Nigeria. The consultant is Bayomi Kukoyi, trading under the name and style of Gladstone Kukoyi and Associates, while the company's directors on trial are Prince Kingsley Okpala, Prince Chidi Okpalaeze, and Prince Emmanuel Okpalaeze. While closing its case, investigative officer at the National Crime Agency (NCA) in the United Kingdom. Giving his evidence before the court, Detective Sergeant Webb told Justice Limon that the NCA was assigned to investigate the activities and status of the 2 firms, Gazette 8 Limited and Goldmatic Limited, allegedly used by the defendants to perpetrate the alleged crime. Well, the Gombe State Geographic Information Systems has generated over 1.8 billion naira in revenue in 2 years, its Director General Dr. Kabiru Hassan said. Hassan said this at the inauguration of the Gorges Service Center on Saturday in Gombe. According to media reports, the center was inaugurated by the Governor of Kaduna State, Nasser El-Rufai. Hassan said the center was conceived in 2013 to address the myriads of challenges affecting land administration in the state. Still to come in the news. Treasurers laments forex scarcity in Nigeria, urge federal government to intervene. Do stay with us.
Business exists only to meet the needs of the people, but there's an extra advantage if your product and services are pitched on a platform that gives you the added advantage over your competitors. For your desired return on investment and so much more, advertise on Spectrum Television, on StarTimes DTH Channel 421 and on free-to-air with a frequency of 12733. Spectrum Television, broadening your horizon.
Every day, we bring you up-to-date information on topical issues affecting the common Nigerian. From issues on politics,
hello Nigeria, I remain committed.
Security, education, health, lifestyle, and so much more. Join Janice Kobum and Uyai Anyeken every weekday from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. on Rise and Shine Daily, exclusive on Spectrum Television.
Every society is premised on the quality of relationships forged by its inhabitants. The health of these relationships determines how well people, relationships, organizations thrive to 3 p.m. on channel 421 on StarTimes to catch all the conversations, interviews, real stories, and how to navigate relationships and family life in the 21st century. Real people, real faces, real stories. Connect live on Spectrum Television.
Business exists only to meet the needs of the people. But there's an extra advantage if your product and services are pitched on a platform that gives you the added advantage over your competitors. For your desired return on investment and so much more, advertise on Spectrum Television, on StarTimes DTH Channel 421 and on free-to-air with a frequency of 12733. Spectrum Television, broadening your horizon.
Nigerian police, which is the only one allowed by grossly abused. Our governors have to share police powers with the president as stipulated by the constitution. We do not have a federal government police force. We have the Nigerian police force, which shall be administered, organized, and supervised by the Nigerian police force.
No, my lord, I want to say something. I want to say something here. Perhaps it might also enlarge the scope of people who should be invited here for examination. My lord, if we cannot find those who literally murdered Abiola, who are those people who could be said to be the beneficiaries of the death of Abiola?
Rogers has linked you with some of the killings he did.
You never did.
Is
this an adversary proceeding?
It's not, my lord. These cases are in court, my lord. I'm just reminding your lordship.
My lord, sorry, my lord. I think I'll be in cross-examination.
Legally Speaking, a program that deals with legal issues and questions we face as citizens of this amazing country, Nigeria. Legally Speaking. Join us every
Friday from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m.
for Legally Speaking.
Many thanks for staying tuned. Now, in Africa, representatives from Sudan's warring armies have arrived in Saudi Arabia for their first face-to-face negotiations. The pre-negotiation talks between the Sudanese army and the paramilitary Rapid Support Forces (RSF), both sides have said they will discuss a humanitarian truce, but not an end to the conflict. There has been no word so far about whether the meeting has taken place or who the Rep Congo say the number of people known to have died in severe flooding and mudslides has risen to 176. The governor of South Kivu province said Mobukibi were submerged when rivers in eastern DR Congo burst their banks. There were also severe mudslides that destroyed homes made of wooden planks with corrugated iron roofs. Rescue teams say there are piles of bodies in muddy clothing. Now, local media of Lake Kivu in neighboring Rwanda, at least 130 people have died as a result of floods and mudslides. Starved themselves to death, while a court ordered that the cult leader remain in prison. The Commission of Inquiry announced on Friday by presidential spokesman Hussein Mohammed will examine whether administrative or Paul Mackenzie, who they said predicted the world would end on April 15 and instructed his followers to kill themselves to be the first to go to heaven. The death toll stands at 111, but could rise further in one of the worst cult-related disasters in He has not commented publicly on the accusations against him, nor has he been required to enter a plea to any criminal charge. His lawyer George Kariuki told the press on Tuesday that his client could day-long trilateral dialogue with China and Afghanistan in Islamabad after the arrival of the Chinese and Afghan foreign ministers Qin Gang and Malawi Amir Khan Mutaki on Friday participate in bilateral discussions with their Pakistani counterpart Bilawal Bhutto Zardari Mutaki. Afghanistan's interim foreign minister was granted a travel ban exemption by the United Nations Security Council UNSC earlier this month, allowing him to travel to Pakistan. He has long been subjected to a travel ban, asset freeze and arms embargo under the United Kingdom and 14 Commonwealth realms at Britain's first coronation for 70 years during a ceremony steeped in a millennium of ritual and spectacle held yesterday. After a lifetime as heir to his late mother, Archbishop of Canterbury Justin Welby placed the solid gold St. Edward's crown on Charles's head as a sacred and ancient symbol of the monarch's authority. Welby also crowned Charles's wife, Queen Camilla, aged 75. Cries of God save. Meanwhile, leaders in the United States and Europe sent congratulations to Britain's King Charles III and Queen Camilla on their coronation on Saturday, while China called for paid tribute to the enduring friendship between the US and the UK. He tweeted that the country's relationship was a source of strength for both its people and that he was proud his wife could be there for the historic occasion. In an interview at Friday, he said he would meet Charles, aged 74, in July to talk in particular about environmental issues. Elsewhere, Chinese President Xi Jinping urged the UK to work for a stable and mutually beneficial relationship with his country after recent strains to the enduring strength of the British monarchy, amongst other congratulatory notes that flooded in. Away from that now, the death toll after ethnic clashes in India's remote northeast rose to 54 on Saturday, with fresh violence overnight despite authorities rushing in troops to restore order. Thousands of soldiers were sent to Manipur state after a protest march at the tribal group turned violent on Wednesday. Authorities imposed an internet blackout and issued shoot-at-sight orders in extreme cases in an effort to contain the unrest. The situation remained tense after a fresh bout of violence on Friday night, hours after the state's top police officer warned that rioters had reported a combined total of 54 dead, according to local media. Still on a sad note, a man went on a rampage at a Texas outlet mall on Saturday, shooting dead 8 people and wounding several others before he was killed by a police officer at the busy shopping complex. Video footage circulating online showed the shooter getting out of a sedan in the mall's parking lot before opening fire on people walking nearby. An officer inside, on an unrelated call, quickly responded to the gunfire and neutralized the shooter as scenes of panic broke out at the sprawling facility in Allen, according to police. The identity of the shooter was not released. His body, sprawled on a sidewalk, was one of 7 deaths at the mall when mall police arrived. On the Russian invasion, Ukraine has accused Russia of attacking the besieged city of Bakhmut with phosphorus munitions. In drone footage released by Ukraine's military, Bakhmut can be seen ablaze as what appears to be white phosphorus rains down on the city. White phosphorus weapons are not. Russia has been accused of using them before. Russia has been trying to capture Bakhmut for months, despite its questionable strategic value. Western officials have estimated that thousands of Moscow's troops have died in the assault. Writing on Twitter, Ukraine's defense ministry said the attack had targeted unoccupied areas of Bakhmut with incendiary ammunition. It is unclear when it took place, but the footage shared by Ukraine, seemingly captured by a surveillance drone, showed high-rise buildings engulfed in flames. Other videos posted to social media showed fires raging on the ground and white clouds illuminating the night sky. Now in business, the Nigeria Association of Corporate Treasurers has lamented the scarcity of foreign exchange in the country. Foreign scarcity has been a significant issue. The president of the association, Yinka Ogunmi, disclosed this recently during his inauguration as ACTN's new president. Ogunumbi noted that most of the association's challenges had often revolved around the scarcity of foreign exchange. As of Saturday, the official dollar rate to the naira is 461.5 naira, while it is 738 naira in the black market. Still in business, to improve the country's revenue drive, 10 commercial banks listed in the Nigerian Exchange Group (NGX) paid 260.3 billion naira in company income tax (CIT) in 2022. The figure represents a 28% increase compared to 203.6 billion naira paid in 2021. The banks disclosed this in their audited financial statements for 2022. The contributing banks are Access, GT, UBA, Fidelity and Zenith banks. Others are Union, Sterling, Ecobank, Stanbic and Unity banks. The development comes as profit after tax (PAT) of the banks jumped to 1.06 trillion naira against 989.6 billion naira in 2021. And while the National Bureau of Statistics said the total CIT collections rose to 2.8 trillion naira in 2022 from 1.67 trillion naira in 2021. Recall that Nigeria recorded the highest tax receipt in 2022 to the tune of 10 trillion naira. Still in business, concerns of palpable wrongdoing have been raised over the recently approved 142.24 billion naira e-custom project by the Federal Executive Council. Wole Batmus, the National Coordinator Forum of Non-Governmental Organizations in Nigeria, FONGAN, disclosed this on Thursday while briefing journalists in Abuja. Recall that media had reported that the FEC okayed the e-customs modernization project at 142.24 billion naira despite controversy. The project was awarded to Trade Modernization Projects Limited, TMPL, but Badmus claimed that the Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning, Zainab Ahmed, Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Abubakar Malami, and the Controller General of the Nigerian Customs Service, Colonel Hamid Ali, are collaborating to deplete the Comprehensive Import Supervisor Scheme (CISS) and Nigeria Export Supervision Scheme accounts. He said the contract approval controversy is some of the clear landmines for the incoming administration. He also alleged that Ali is collaborating with the Executive Secretary of Buhari Support Group, Hajia Zain. Away from that, the Nigeria Export Promotion Council (NEPC) has advised farmers to prioritize the production of economic crops and trees to tap from the huge potential of export to the international market. The Executive Director and Chief Executive Officer of the Council, Dr. Ezra Yakusek, gave the advice while interacting with Southern Kaduna Journalists Forum, who visited him in his office in Abuja. Yakusek said cultivation of economic trees like cashew and palm trees has a huge export potential and urged farmers to key in and reap the benefits. He said that the council would provide the needed awareness, technical support, capacity building and tips on how to access the international market through export. According to him, with economic crops and trees, farmers will make more money through export and use part of the profit to buy food with so much change in the bank. Still to come in the news. Nigeria's Golden Eagles defeat South Africa to qualify for quarterfinals of Under-17 AFCON. Thanks for staying tuned. Now in health, the UK Nursing and Midwifery Council (NMC) says it will probe the registration of 512 Nigerians who passed its exams at the computer-based test CBTs. It said 1,970 candidates took the test at the CBT center run on its behalf by Pearson VUE, with 512 joining the NMC register. But a statement on the NMC website said the data of the affected persons could be incorrect and that Pearson VUE has stopped testing at the center. It noted that its paramount concern is to maintain the integrity of the register to protect the public, but at the same time it is critical it approaches any investigations about individuals objectively, and the public is leading other nations of the world in the list of countries with high fertility rates. Recent data released by the World of Statistics indicates Niger Republic takes the lead at 6.9, Somalia 0. The figures indicate the best rating in fertility or births per woman in the listed countries. Nigeria follows in 8th position with a 5.3 rating, while the likes of South Korea, Hong Kong, Singapore, Japan, China. PHCB has given adequate assurance that no child in the state would be disenfranchised from receiving the polio vaccine, as over 1 million children are targeted for the Vaccination Health Care Board on Thursday in Gazelle. The Executive Secretary, represented by the board's health educator, Danja Kuria, said media should play a key role in the success of activities of PHCB in the state. According to him, over 1 million children would be vaccinated during the forthcoming polio virus vaccine. Now in sports, the Nigeria Under-17 team, the Golden Eaglets, have booked their place in the quarterfinals in Algeria. The Eaglets showed great tenacity in their final. The victory sees the Eaglets secure 6 points and a loss, and thus qualify for the quarterfinal. So in sports, Rodrigo was on hand to fire the winner from close range after Toni Kroos's shot deflected into his path. Osasuna, playing in only their second Copa del Rey final, had threatened an upset when Lucas Toro lethaled. Rodrigo and with the fastest goal in a Spanish Cup final. In the English Premier League, Pep Guardiola told Erling Haaland not to be so generous after the Norwegian handed over penalty duties to Points Clare at the top of the Premier League, thanks to Gundogan's first-half double. But the German hit the post when handed the chance to seal his hat-trick, and within a minute, Rodrigo pulled for Haaland, who missed a number of chances to add to his 51 goals in all competitions this season. Following King Charles III's coronation yesterday. For the third season in a row, Salah has reached 30 goals in all competition thanks to his first-half strike. The Egypt star is the first player in Liverpool history to net in 9 successive games at Anfield, with his strike taking him to 100 career goals at the stadium. He also moved level with Steven Gerrard's Liverpool tally of 186 goals, sitting in joint 5th place in the club's all-time scoring list. Now, Jurgen Klopp at Brighton in midweek has given Liverpool renewed hope of qualifying for the Champions League via a top 4 berth. On entertainment, a veteran actress, Joke Sylvia, has hopped on the Silver set Nollywood shoots in apartments these days, but she will not allow movies to be shot in her home because of the number of people that are brought into a shoot. She made a case for building studios and sound stages, just like American filmmaker Tyler Perry. He said he built one of the biggest sound stages in the world, noting that the thing with sound stages is that they are usually facades, as sound stages give films had made it easy for filmmakers to exhibit their works. The Nigerian singer and rapper Divine Ikubo, popularly known as Rema, has entered into the Guinness World Book of Records. The Benin-born music star achieved the feat chart. Guinness World Record recognized the singer for achieving the historic feat in a statement on its website recently. According to the statement, Rema was being recognized for securing the first #1 hit on the world's first regional streaming chart and first ever official chart in the Middle East industry of the phonographic industry IFPI on November 29, 2022. The song topped the chart for over 2 months. Nigerian singer Oluwatobi Wande Ojosipe, popularly known as Wande Cole, has declared himself the best artist in the country. Wande Cole, who is yet to have a hit song in many years, said it is undebatable. He said whether he is regarded as a legend or not, he remains the best artist the country has ever seen. The 37-year-old vocalist made this comment repeatedly. And finally, on entertainment today, Ukraine's reigning Eurovision champions, Kalush Orchestra, have got the party started in this year's host city, Liverpool, with a performance to open the fan village. The band kicked off the official Eurovision build-up, watched by fans on Liverpool's waterfront. The celebrations will continue until the grand finale on Saturday, 13th May. Kalush's Timofil Mizichuk said the band members were sad it was impossible to hold this year's Eurovision in Ukraine. TV.ng. You have been watching Spectrum News at noon. My name is Xavier Robert. Do enjoy the rest of your day. Bye for now.